Welcome back everybody, more Insurgency Sandstorm, and this week what I thought I would do is cover a very classic SMG, a favourite of mine, and I know many of you for shooter games, and that is the MP5, and we'll look at the variants, show a bit of gameplay, and I'll give you my little tips and tricks in using this gun. Hope you're going to enjoy it. Let's do it. So welcome to the Machine Pistol of 5, which is chambered in 9x1 19mm Parabella ammunition. It was developed in the 1960s by a team of engineers, and it's designed for close quarters combat. Now, if you haven't played with the MP5 in the past in any shooter games, then you're missing out, people, because this is an absolutely fantastic gun to play around with. In Insurgency Sandstorm, I won't lie, it does take a little bit of time to get your head around and get it working, but once you do, you will not be disappointed. Now, the primary version of the MP5 is the MP5A2. We are going to look at predominantly the MP5A5 today, but I will do a breakdown of both of those different guns in the game and show you what the differences are between them in Insurgency Sandstorm. Once you master this SMG, you are actually going to be beaming people, and you're going to have multiple king kills like you're seeing in the footage now. Fantastic little SMG to run around with. Let's go over and have a look at the stats on both of the MP5s we get in Insurgency Sandstorm, and then we'll head over to the range and do a little bit of the firing tests and show you some setups. So here is the statistics, and I'll put the MP5A2 and A5 together. You will notice straight away there is no difference in the statistics whatsoever, except for one specific thing with the fire modes. The MP5 has one extra fire mode, which is a 3-round burst. Apart from that, these guns, as far as the stats go, are identical. You can see up the top though, and I've included photos of both guns. The MP5 that you're probably used to seeing in a lot of games is the A5 with that very distinct shape. It seems a little bit smaller, and it almost looks as though it's got a foldable stock there on the A5. But apart from that, it's chambered in 9x19mm Parabella ammunition, 800 rounds per minute fire rate, a velocity of 400 meters per second. A fairly low penetration when we look at things like some of the assault rifles have been used at 1.77. The horizontal recoil is 19 and the vertical is 17, and that is pretty low compared to some of the assault rifles. And the magazine capacity is 30 at standard, so not a lot more to be said about that. They're exactly the same gun except for one change in the fire rate. Let's head over and look at the comparisons, and I could only find two other SMGs that are running the 9x19mm Parabellas. That is the Uzi and the Sterling. And you'll see, if we look at those ammo capacities as our kind of benchmark, the MP5s are way ahead of both the Uzi and the Sterling as far as fire rate goes. They beat it on velocity. The penetration is the same. The Uzi's horizontal and vertical recoil are slightly better. And you get a little bit more ammunition in the Sterling, but I would highly recommend that you're using the MP5 instead of one of these guns, because I think you're going to get a heck of a lot more performance out of the MP5, quite frankly. And yeah, let's head over to the range now. We'll do some firing tests and show you some setups, and then I'll give you my final conclusion of what I've actually found when I've been playing with this gun in the game. Okay, so we have 3 fire modes on this gun. So let's start with full auto, and then we'll go through them one by one, and I'll give you my feelings on this. So you can see that kind of kicks. Reload. kind of kicks up to the left. It's virtually all. Yeah, there is a little bit horizontal, but it's not too bad. Then you have the 3-round burst, and that kind of feels like when you're using it has a little bit more horizontal recoil. I do not like this mode. I've got to tell you up front, I do not like the 3 burst mode. I don't know, and this is the one I probably use the most, which is the 1 round, and it virtually doesn't move. It's on the spot. Yeah, let me talk to you about the 3 burst mode. I would encourage you to try the 3 burster because it might work for you. For me, I just do not like it. So I'd probably use the MP5 A2, given that that's the only difference in the guns. I just find having to flick through the 3 burst mode, which is a mode I just do not use, just wastes my time, and I'm used to having 2 fire modes on the gun. I just didn't find I got the same accuracy as I did either with full auto or the single fire in the gun. So it was the 3 burst is just a little bit unnecessary for me personally. But again, as I said, I'd encourage you just to try the MP5 A5 and just see if it suits your playstyle a little bit better than it did mine. So the iron sights on this gun are pretty good. If you're using it predominantly in close quarters, you could actually go with the irons because they are pretty good. You can see when we look down the sights, it doesn't block too much of your view. Anyway, we'll get into the loadout. I'll show you what I generally use on this gun, and then we'll show you some footage, and you can make your mind up what you think. So depends what you're doing with it. A one-time scope and something like prison is way more than enough. I find a lot of success with the holographic, the single holographic. Up to you with your optics. As usual, I use my normal 2x 1x OKP 7 scope. If your eyes are younger and better than mine, then you get away with a 1x scope. It is a close quarters weapon. Pretty much put the compensator on. Aiming grip for this one. You do not need a recoil grip on this gun in my estimations. Make sure you are using extended mags and make sure that you have the heavy carrier on. This does burn through ammunition very, very quickly. And yeah. So just a quick look at the setup. There you go. There's the setup that I would generally run with a gun, and it's a good gun. I'll tell you some of my experiences now about how I find the gun. I've got to say, having used a number of the ARs and some of the better ARs in the game, yeah, this is not an easy weapon to get your head around when you first start the game. It will take you some time to get this gun dialed in, and yeah, I was a little bit frustrated when I first used this gun, but then the more I used it, and I'd encourage you to persist with it, you'll get the benefit of it because it is a real fun gun. It is accurate, very, very accurate, even at full auto. And yeah, it just allows you to be a little bit quicker, a little bit more nimble. And let me tell you, snapping on targets and snapping on quick targets with this gun is real fun. I've turned on a number of enemies and shot them even after they've shot me once and killed them. And yeah, but be warned, it will take you a while to get used to this gun. I generally use it either in full auto or single shot. The distance will take a little bit of getting used to. I have found that sometimes this can be a little bit inaccurate at distance. And again, like I said, that comes back to what I said earlier. It will just take you a time to figure out what kind of distances this gun is good at. It's not too bad in kind of short to mid range, but longer range you will struggle a little bit with this weapon. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, there is the MP5. Go out, play around with it, let me know how you go with it. If you're running a slightly different setup to what I recommend, let me know. I'd love to hear from you and how much success you have with it. Hope you're enjoying the whole series on weapons, guys. I hope it's being useful for you, and I hope you are enjoying Insurgency Sandstorm as much as I am. If this was informative, please leave a like. It does help the channel. If you have anything that you would like to see in the series, please leave a comment down below. And we will catch you next time on Gaming for XP. Oh, see ya!